December is a really great month because it marks pretty much the halfway point of the year. If you are watching this as a PTO or PTA leader, this means that you are halfway done with your term for the year, and that should feel like a great thing. You're probably also ready for a break. But your work is not done because a PTO leader's work is never done because there's always something more to do. Do not let that kind of sound as big as it does. It doesn't mean it all has to be done right now. Usually December, I like to kind of slow things down a little bit, look and see if you actually need to meet during the month of December. If not, it is a great time to meet off campus. I know my groups but sometimes we meet off campus. This year, we are actually headed to a restaurant for some dinner and some desserts, and our hospitality chair has planned a gift exchange and a cookie exchange. So it should be really a fun time, but use the meeting times that you have. If you don't have business to conduct, or if you have business that you can conduct via modern technology, such as email, a Google form, whatever. Let's say if you have to vote, and if that is in your bylaws and standing rules, if that's permitted for you, maybe consider taking a break from the business meeting this month, because December is such a busy month, because in addition to being PTO leaders, we are also parents. So yeah, it is I don't need to be telling you this, December is hella busy. So look for opportunities to lighten the load. The other thing that meeting off campus for your meeting can achieve is just give your volunteers and your leaders a chance to come together and form relationships. I know I keep talking about this, but I cannot stress the importance of having healthy relationships as being kind of like the backbone of your PTO or PTA. If you have people that are not getting along, you're not going to get anything done. It's going to be miserable when you're doing it. So you want to look for opportunities for people to form those relationships. And there is no better way to kind of foster those relationships than to go out to eat and spend some time just getting to know one another in a different way. Maybe you're swapping stories, maybe you're finding things in common. It really will help. In the long run, it'll help people feel more connected to your group because you're going to be more connected to each other. So that is my very first tip for what you should be doing in December. It's get out of the meeting room and go have some fun. So as president, in really all positions, you want to kind of be looking at where you are in the year. Not actually like time-wise, but look at what you had thought that you wanted to get done for the year. Look at what you had planned. What worked well? What didn't work well? What adjustments do you need to make for the second half of the year in order to reach those goals? Maybe someone has stepped down and you as president have been filling in. Maybe it's time to recruit for that open position so you can take that task off of your to-do list and leave yourself more open to all the little things that aren't specifically spelled out in your job description, but certainly land on your plate and keep you hopping. You also want to make sure to check in with your principal. See how things are going. Again, what adjustments need to be made in order to have a smooth and successful and enjoyable rest of the school year. Having that open line of communication is super important. And without it, you're going to be left guessing and you might guess wrong. So don't do that. Don't assume. Go ahead and schedule a meeting, and maybe December there's no time. So maybe you want to get it on the books for early January to kind of set the stage for what's to come, but make it happen. Carve out that time. Ask your principal to carve out that time. It's really important. For membership chairs, your fall membership drive probably is over. I hope it was super successful, but unless you have 100% of teachers, staff, and parents as members, your job is not done, my friend. There is always an opportunity to add more people to your ranks and have more volunteers kind of available. So just continue to look for opportunities. Continue to look for opportunities to ask people to get involved. If they have not yet joined, it's probably because there's some hang up that they have. So I would try a different approach for the rest of the year. I would not do a membership drive. I would just look for people who you know aren't involved. Maybe they're like hanging around. Maybe ask, especially if you are in like a lower elementary school, ask the teachers who are coming in to help, but in the classroom, or who are helping outside the classroom, like with take-home projects or whatever. See who is helping the teachers. Those are going to be people that you can probably loop into your PTO if you approach them in the right way. So if they have not joined yet, like I said, you're going to need to take a different kind of tactic. And so I would just start with asking them to come to your next event. If it's a meeting, great. If it is a family fun event, great. If it is just something else, invite them to come. Let them know that you're going to be looking for them there. No, not in a stalkerish way, but you're going to have to be like super charming. Like I always kind of make it into a joke and be like, I'm totally going to see you there, right? Because I'm going to be looking for you. And I say it with a smile on my face and kind of joking, but kind of not joking. And more times than not, people actually show up. And when they come to that event, you bet them over there going, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad you came. I was hoping you would come. We talked, and really just be engaging, be charming, because that is what it takes. Again, that is that relationship when you are open like that, and when you're exuding positivity and charm like that, then people are going to want to hang out with you more. So that is why I recommend that you have more extroverts as membership chairs rather than introverts, because introverts, that is going to be like slowly killing their soul to do that kind of stuff. But for an extrovert, they're not going to have a problem with it, and they're going to go for it. And so then once you have those newbies coming to a meeting or an event, you're going to talk to them at the event. And then here's the kicker. You're going to follow up with them afterwards. And you're going to say, so glad you came. Here's our next thing. Invite them to get involved. Like sometimes it does take that level of asking, because eventually you're going to wear people down and they're going to get involved. So that is definitely a good strategy to try especially if you guys are feeling like you need more volunteers. You're going to have to hustle, and you're going to have to hustle on a personal level. But the thing is, if you do it in an authentic and genuine way where you're actually excited about the person coming and not the body, right? So that you're looking for that, like specifically you want Mia to come. If you want Mia to come, you're really going to have to figure out what Mia needs to get involved and figure out her hangups, and just maybe even you don't have to figure them out, but you just have to be open to listening to hear what she has to say, and just keep at it with inviting her until she comes. Like if you picked out 5 people that you had a goal, you're going to I'm going to get 5 additional members, or even volunteers, right? If you don't count members. So as membership chair, you could set a goal of getting 5 additional parents to get involved as volunteers. Like if you had 5 more volunteers, how much more could your group do? How many more hands would you have at events to help ease the workload? Like I know for my group, that would be massive, because we don't have a wide swath of helpers. For whatever, like the high school level, like parents totally check out. Their kids are like nearly grown and they're like, haven't gotten involved so far. So like, why start now? So you really have to overcome that by being charming and specifically picking people, like specific people that you want to be like, ooh, those people, that's who I'm going to really focus my energies on. And when you do that, you're probably going to have a pretty good conversion rate, and you're going to end up with volunteers who are ready not only this year, but ready to come back next year and help out too. For staff appreciation chairs, if you haven't yet done an appreciation event or done anything for the teachers and staff, totally do something during December. It can be something as simple as setting out snacks during finals week. I did that one year. I went to Costco and got a bunch of like bulk snacks and then just set them out in the library, and the teachers loved it. It was just such a casual grab and go event. They could come and get a treat. I left a note. It probably had a pun, because I love to make up punny little statements. Just something very simple like that will go a long way. It doesn't matter how grandiose or big big of a thing that you plan. It's the fact that you're doing something. Like, I didn't even do any decorations. And legit, I think my sign was on the back of a pink index card that I just had laying around in my house. And I thought, oh, that'll stand up nice because I can make a little tent sign out of it. So that's what I did. It doesn't matter. The fact I can't tell you how many people came up to me after the fact and said, that was like really nice. And we got emails and notes in our boxes. Teachers and staff will just soak up any kind of love that you throw their way. So do it as much as you can. For fundraising chairs, hopefully your fall fundraiser went really well and that you have like enough money to carry you through the rest of the program year and pay for everything. But you really don't want to make that assumption. Like, sit down with your treasurer, or if they didn't provide that information. Like, it kind of depends on when your income comes in to make that determination, but look at what you've raised so far this year and make that determination if it's going to be enough for the year or if you need to do something in the spring, because you might want to go ahead and invest a little bit of time figuring out something to do before spring break. You definitely do not want to be doing any fundraising after spring break. People legit check out, especially for the grade that is leaving your school, like the graduating class of your school. They're not going to contribute unless they have a younger child. If their kid is on the way out the door, I would not count on any participation. So that would be a significant chunk of your population not participating in a fundraiser. So that's why I want to say, do it before spring break, ideally with having like delivery around spring break at the latest too, if you're doing like a product-based fundraiser. For treasurers, you for sure want to be keeping up to date with your monthly reports, making sure that their transaction register is totally filled in and up to date so that you know financially where your group is financially. The other thing you want to look at is alert your executive board if you see a potential for a deficit. Like, if you are finding that the fundraiser did not bring in enough, then you want to make sure that the president and fundraising chair especially, but also the rest of your executive board team knows this fact so that you guys can plan for something in the spring. For family event chairs, you want to continue just to make those plans for the spring semester. Also take a look at what happened for the first half of the year and see if you can tweak anything based on so look at the events you've had thus far and see if you can learn anything from like what you needed to tweak if you did the event again for next year. See if you can apply that kind of same stuff to any events that you're planning to have in the spring. Like, maybe it's making sure to ask the custodians for an extra trash can so that you don't have mounds of trash left that you have to collect afterwards. And if there was an extra trash can, you would have had enough room for that. Maybe it's asking for extra chairs for people that need to sit down. Just something along those ways. Like, look at what you've done, where you've been, and how it's all shaken out, and see what you can tweak in the spring to make things go even smoother. So with all of that said, this is the last month. Woohoo! We have 12 different months of what to do. So it doesn't really matter if you are watching this the year it's being recorded or in the future, because the same kind of stuff is happening in your PTO or PTO kind of like on a year over year basis. Like, what's happening in September in 2022 or 2023 rather it doesn't matter. 2022 or 2023, it's about the same for what you should be doing, because the school year is so cyclical. So if you haven't yet already, go ahead and watch the other months. I thank you for watching this video and hope that you will join me for the next one. Want even more guidance on how to be a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO or PTA? All of these resources and more are waiting for you at PTOanswers.com.